Hey, what it do, what it do, what it do? It's Husk out here, man. Tune in, get your popcorn ready, get your beverage of choice ready. About to listen to the Husk Out High School Sports Show podcast, man. Informative. You know it's going to be great coaching, great players, and great commentary. Sit back, enjoy it. Husk Out. Peace. Part one. We have part one, sitting down with DJ Mann, head coach out of Lubbock Coronado High School. A young man that's been the offensive quarterback coach at Cedar Hill, amongst many other schools. Coaches really sit back, really listen in with an attentive ear because this is going to be nice. Peace. Hey, what it do, man? Hood Scout back here for another Hood Scout High School Sports Show. This time, man, we got a quarterback coach, got a guru, got a guy that I'm gonna let introduce himself. Coming all the way from West Texas. Coach, tell the people who you are and where you from.
Coach DJ Mann. I'm originally from Lubbock, Texas, and blessed enough to be the head football coach at my alma mater, Lubbock Coronado.
So, Coach, take me back to, when did you first fall in love with the game? When did you first really even get involved in football? Was it in Lubbock, or tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, man. I was actually living in California, in Anaheim, California, and Jerry Gray, who's the defensive backs coach for the Green Bay Packers, legend in Texas, played at the University of Texas. He was my babysitter. Him and his wife were my babysitters. So I'd go to every game. I'd sit down and talk to him about football, and I just kind of developed a love for it. Started playing out there in California in Little League, had some success. Moved out here to Texas, had a little success in Little League, and you would always catch me, fifth, sixth, seventh grades, just like drawing football plays, just trying to be creative. And it was probably terrible back then, man. But, that's where my love for football started, man.
So now, did he was your babysitter? Did he, at that time, what was he doing, Jerry Gray? What was he doing at that time?
Shoot, that joker was a starting cornerback for the LA Rams.
Wow, starting cornerback. So
Yeah.
did he just ask you, did you want to play football? Did he notice you had a little speed? Like how did that thing work, or did it just was a coincidence?
It's kind of a coincidence. He's from Lubbock also, so we kind of had a family connection. Yeah, we had a family connection. So they lived out there, we moved out there. Our parents knew each other, and like I said, man, I would just see him play, and I would talk to him, and man, I've always just loved football, man. I ain't got a lot. I have no hobbies. I don't have a lot of talent. Not really good at a lot of other things, man. Football has been in me my whole life.
So middle school. So middle school, where are you playing at? You playing in Lubbock?
I'm at Dunbar Junior High in the hood in Lubbock, Texas, man, and played with some phenomenal athletes. Played a little quarterback, played a little running back, a little cornerback, man, and that's where I kind of realized that I got a little talent because I was with some guys that could really play, man, and just kind of had a lot of fun with it.
Then you get into high school. So you started at Coronado, right?
Yeah, I come to high school across town on the other side of town. You know what I'm saying? I kind of leave the hood and come to the affluent side of town, which was a.
So what high school would you would have been at if you would have went to the high school from your junior high?
Estacado.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. Estacado was right down MLK. I had a cousin that came to Coronado, man, and I kind of wanted to follow him. I even followed him to college, man. And Coronado was a good place, doing really good things. And here I kind of learned, how to deal with different types of people, man. I had to mature a lot because there wasn't a lot of brothers over here. When I got here, man. So, it was all love. I played for a guy named Butch Henderson, took care of me like I was one of his kids, man. And that's where I developed the love for this place that I'm at now.
So what did you start? Was you on varsity your sophomore year?
I ran varsity track as a sophomore. I played varsity football as a junior. Like there weren't very many sophomores playing varsity out here at that time. If you were doing that, at that time we were a big 5A, which is 6A now. That was like playing varsity as a freshman. So I had a little juice, but I didn't have that much juice.
What if you could? Now you're a coach now. You've been around a ton of kids, but Any lessons that you wish you would have known at that time that you may know now? Like, I wish I could tell my younger self.
I didn't work nearly as hard as I should have, and I was a pretty hard worker. But
Hmm.
man, I was blessed with so much. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I had a pretty good amount of like natural talent,
Hmm.
and I understood football really, really well. I think I had a pretty solid IQ for a 16, 17-year-old. But man, I didn't lift weights as hard as I needed to. I didn't work hard in track practice as hard as I needed to. I didn't do the things off the football field well enough. And if I could go back and do it over, man, I'd have hit that weight room. I would have ran harder in track. I would have worked a little harder in the summer.
Hey, that's a good lesson for all you youngsters out there. You guys be in ninth grade talking about you overlooked, man. But you gotta put the work in. Coach say he wish he would have grinded a little bit harder. So your senior year, coach. Now I know you end up going to West Texas A&M, correct?
Yes.
Walk me through that senior year of high school. What was the mindset? What was that senior year like for you? Did I get Coach Freeze up on me again? I think Coach froze on me. Well, we're on the podcast with Coach DJ Mann, head coach at Coronado, and we're just really getting his background story. And I think Coach Wildfire might have froze up on us in the midst of our conversation. Coach, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back, baby.
Okay, I don't know what. That's that. Yeah, I gotta get some Wi-Fi in West Texas, Coach.
Hey, man, you might be right, bro. But I'm here.
I think I was saying the senior year. Like, walk me through that senior year and that process.
Crazy thing, man. I got into a car wreck the day before school started.
Ah,
Probably shouldn't be here right now, man. Broke my collarbone, broke my pelvic bone, rolled probably, got hit, rolled across the median, tried to jump out the car, realized that I was about to get hit by another car, jumped back on the driver's side, finally hit the brake, probably 200 yards later. This is the day
oh,
before school started in my senior year, man. Broken collarbone.
oh.
Come back, man. Doctor told me I was done. I went booby miles in the hospital, went crazy. Doctor said, when you can lift your arm up, you can play. I come back and I play like the sixth game. Make a few plays, a few picks, whatever it is here and there. And, I get recruited by West Texas A&M. I come back and during track season, and I find out my pelvic bone is broken from the car accident.
Ah,
So I
wow.
played the whole football season with a broke pelvic bone. I didn't know. I just knew something was hurting, like something hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And finally go get an MRI and everything. They're like, man, your pelvic's broken. You're going to have to stop running track or you're going to have surgery and you're going to miss your senior year of college. I mean, your freshman year of college football. So, man, I shut everything down, which I regret doing. If I could go back and do anything again, I would have finished my track career and then just, worried about college later on. But, man, I'm a young kid. I'm thinking and I only went to West Texas A&M. I went D2. I wasn't going big time, but in my head, I'm like, man, I'm finna go big time. I'm thinking I'm
Yeah.
big time, and should have stayed and ran track with my high school buddies.
Now, college. What was? I know college is a different experience, even though, like you just said, it's D2, but it's still college. Was it a big transition for you going from high school going to college, or was it not as big as you may have thought?
No, it was extremely big because
Oh,
I graduated high school early, so I was 17 when I got to West Texas A&M. Couldn't get into the club, man. I had to send papers home for my parents to sign them,
yeah.
and we had a receiver that was 26 years old with two
Wow.
kids and a wife, man. So just trying to make that adjustment. I wasn't very big, man. I was a small guy. I was blessed to have a lot of speed and blessed to be, have some knowledge of the game. But man,
Hmm.
it's waking up at 5 o'clock. It's meetings. It's a playbook that's this big on defense, man. So in my opinion, man, I underachieved big time when I got to college, man, big time. And I didn't have the career that I wanted to have, but man, I met so many great people and learned so much, man. I wouldn't trade it.
Well, I'm glad you said that first part. What would your advice be to a high school student? Let's say maybe a sophomore or a junior who thinks he has it all figured out, but he's going to college. Like at this point, what does he need to be doing to prepare for that stage?
The best thing you can do is get good people around you that aren't trying to get anything from you. Get people around you that aren't users, vultures. There's so many people out there right now that are trying to get something from the kids. Get good advice, man. And one thing I tell my kids, man, when they're about to be recruited, like, be in the best shape of your life. Don't worry about,
Okay.
I got to get big, I got to get strong, because there's a lot of weak, small guys in college, but
Mm-hmm.
everybody in college is in phenomenal shape. Run, 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 run track, run track, run track, and be in great shape.
Okay, okay. So you got out of college, even though it may not have been the career that you wanted. Did you know even at that time that you wanted to go into coaching, or was that something that kind of just opened for you?
Man, at first I thought I was going to be a computer scientist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be a computer scientist. Realized that I wasn't that good at math.
Yeah.
And, my junior year, man, I worked so many jobs in Amarillo and Canyon area. And when I went back to go play and I got done, man, and I emailed like 10 coaches in the area, and I said, let me just come volunteer. I'll come sit out
Mm.
cones. I'll come do whatever you need, man. And one school hit me back. Amarillo Polidoro coach called me back and said, come to practice. That's what started my coaching career right there, man. I was 20, 21, 22 years old.
Hey, you just dropped the nugget, bro. Yeah, you gotta say that again, coach, because you got guys probably thinking they I need a job, I deserve it, I know X and O's. You said I emailed 10 coaches and I told them I'll set up cones for you and I'll volunteer.
Yeah, man.
That's
I
a
senior in college, man. Senior in college. I'm still taking classes, and I'm like, just give me a shot. I want to coach somewhere. I want to, like I said, I emailed all these guys, man. Let me come do something. I just got done playing, and like I said, one school emailed me back. Amarillo Polidoro, guy named Steve Parr. That place always be near and dear to me. That's where Coach Mims is right now.
Yeah, it is.
Me and him actually started together. And I went out thinking I'm just gonna help set up some cones, do this and that. And they found out I knew the offense because that's what we ran in college.
Oh wow.
And they was like, hey, you got these inside receivers. Let's go.
So when you first got there, yeah, you might have knew the offense, but did you know some of the ins and outs of it, or what was something that you learned during that early process of coaching, if you will?
I learned that I didn't know anything. I was a bum. I worked hard and I tried to learn. I thought I knew a lot. I knew
Mm-hmm.
some drills, and I played for some really good guys at West Texas. I was really good scheme wise with everything, but man, I realized that I had so far to go. I didn't understand. I didn't know coaches worked Sundays and Saturdays and stayed in late to input film, and I always wondered how did this laundry get washed? Well, us coaches watching that laundry, you know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it was just little things that I learned, man, in that first year.
So how long was you there at that school, coach?
Man, I was there for a semester, and then I moved to Dallas.
Okay, you moved to Dallas, and what year was that, coach? You remember what year that was?
About 2006, 2007.
Okay, so you moved to Dallas. What's your mindset as a young coach at that time?
Man, I'm about to go try to take over the world.
Okay,
I hooked up with my guy Justin Owen, simply Coach O,
okay,
and he got me a job. And man, I was in the 75217 H Grady Spruce, man, and that's where I really learned kind of, this is a grind. And I was just a young coach that still didn't know crap. Didn't know
yeah,
crap. I knew how to install the offense. I knew what it should look like, but man, I had so far to go. But man, I got a chance to be in the hood and be around those kids, man. Learn how to take care of kids, how to feed kids, take kids home, pick kids up, man. Check on their kids. you
yeah.
know, I just that's an experience that I'll never forget. Working at Spruce, man, getting the opportunity to be in Pleasant Grove.
What would you say is like what's the biggest difference? You coming from Coronado, you said it's kind of upper middle class type school, going to Spruce, which is in the Pleasant Grove area, Dallas. For those who may be listening all over the country or world, what was a few bigger shockers? Was it maybe the athletes are different? Maybe it was the socioeconomic background. Like Was it a couple things that stood out like this is different from where I came from?
Yeah, I mean, it was much different from where I went to high school, but you got to remember, like, man, I'm from Parkway, Lubbock, Texas, which
Okay.
is the other side of the tracks. So, so when I got to Spruce, to me, it kind of felt like home.
Okay.
I went to school over here at Coronado, but I didn't grow up over here.
Okay.
I still lived over on the other side
Yeah,
of town.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So it was cool, man. But it was different, man. I'm from West Texas. I'm from Lubbock. 200,000 people when I get here. Now I'm in the Metroplex. It's big time. It's speed like I've never seen. It's size like I've never seen. So I mean, the game was a lot different. And then kind of being in inner city Dallas, man. You have to learn how to make do. Like I was the trainer at Spruce. I was the one that had to keep up all the medical files. I was the film guy at Spruce, man. You have to learn how to do so many different things that you don't have to do everywhere else.
So walk me through that. That's those Spruce days. What pretty good records, some ups and downs, and how long was you there? What was that the ultimate learning lesson during that experience? And how long was you there?
So I got there in the spring,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next season I was the co-offensive coordinator. 20, I don't know, I'm young dude.
I'm about to say that's young. Wow.
23, maybe what am I? I'm 37 years. I'm about 23, 24 years old, man, and I'm helping Coach O install the offense, and we're
Shout
doing
out to
our
Coach O.
thing. We go buy a bucket of chicken, sit down at his house, and put everything together. We broke, we just hungry. We just want to be great, man. And we had some phenomenal athletes, man. Donovan Bonner went to Missouri, went to the league for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
JJ Nelson had juice, and I think we made it to the second round. Lost to Red Oak, which was a good year, but we were getting ready to bring everybody back the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 2007, Spruce got shut down. They sent all our kids. They sent half of our kids to Madison, the other half to Lincoln.
Wow.
And they fired everybody. I got fired on my day off. I'm laying at the bed. I'm laying in June. It's like late June. I'm laying at the crib. I get a call. Everybody at Spruce is being let go. You got to find a new job.
Wow, that coach, that's crazy. Like the only other school I remember hearing that about, and like I say, everybody out of town, we're talking about inner Dallas. I remember Wilma Hutchins had an issue, and they sent their kids, I think, to Roosevelt in the SOC, I think. And this was I don't know, 06, 05, maybe 07. Wow, man, that's a lot. So we're gonna talk about that real quick. But what was Coach O position at that time?
He was our play caller.
Okay, so he was
our offensive coordinator, running backs coach at that time, I think, man. And me and him, like I said, we were both young, and we had this scheme. We've been talking about this for years because we went to college together. Okay. And we got an opportunity to put it together, man. And that's when I started getting big into the recruiting thing.
Okay, and that's powerful because young coaches, he's telling you the importance of, I call it like, it's a mastermind principle, but getting with somebody else and y'all both planning something, that's a very powerful thing. So Spruce gets shut down, Coach. I'm sure you feeling sick at that time. Did you think, I'm young, I'm gonna land on my feet, or was it like, what the heck just happened?
Man, I remember going to church that Sunday, and I laid out on the floor crying like a baby.
Okay.
Because this is, it's getting July. There's not many jobs open, and I had no idea what I was going to do. Because, man, I didn't know much, man. I'm in a year and a half, 2 years coaching, and man, I don't have a job, and it's getting ready to be July.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sick, man. I was hurt. Probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow. And then so that happened. I'm sure you put your name in different jobs. Walk me through that process of really getting back on your feet, if you will.
I interviewed at two places. I interviewed at Hillcrest for the receiver job, and took a chance, and I went to Wiley High School and interviewed with a guy named Bill Howard for a position there, and just kind of liked what he was about. Man, I knew, now you want to talk about a different world, going from 8th grade Spruce to Wiley High School was a learning experience, brother. A learning experience. And I went to Wiley High School and got a chance to coach in the state championship my first year there.
Wow. Now Wiley, is that by Fort Worth, Coach?
No, Wiley is is up north between like Plano and Garland, Saxe, in that area.
Okay, yeah. Okay. And what were y'all? What 4A,
No,
5A?
we were 5A, which at that time that was the big classification.
So y'all 5A. You got there. I'm pretty sure you learned some good lessons there since it was a big school and y'all went way to state. What was some of the glaring lessons right off the get go?
I I kind of learned the business side of coaching.
Okay, talk about that.
I learned that you have to know how to play the game. Here I am. I'm a young cat coming from 8th grade at Spruce. I dress a certain way, man. I got a little different swag at football practice, and it wasn't always positive. It wasn't always the right thing. I talked a certain way, I acted a little certain way. I wasn't always doing everything that I was supposed to do. And I met a guy named Scoop Reed, and he set me down in coaching school and said, "Hey, man, you're going to be really good one day, but you got to do some things a little different. You got to mature a lot. You got to handle yourself a certain way, man." And I learned that. I learned how to take care of kids because that's one thing Bill Howard did. And I just, you want me to be 100% honest, I learned how to coach in the suburbs, man. It's a different world, from coming from the places that I've been.
See, let's talk about that, coach. When you say a different world, what's the different world? You talked about the business side, but what is the different world like when you say you learned the game? Like, break that down a little bit.
Man, it's such a hustle, and you learn that everybody really ain't on your side, man. And it's kind of like a sink or swim, like either like state property, you either gonna get down or you gonna lay down. And
Yeah.
if you can't get down and you can't do what's right, they're gonna get rid of you and find the next guy.
Wow.
So I learned that I had to be there every Saturday. I
Okay.
learned I had to be there on Sunday, and you might be there all day. I learned that, hey man, you got to hit this laundry when it's supposed to be done. Um, don't miss work. I
Yeah.
missed work one day. I wasn't feeling good. My head football coach came to my classroom and pulled me out. I was like, "Say, man, where you was at?" He's like, "We
Wow.
don't, coach, man, we don't miss work."
Wow.
So I got 1,000,000 days saved up right now because I took that lesson. I don't miss work. But you
Wow.
just kind of learn, man. You learn how to. And I was at my first year, I was the only black. I think I'm the first black coach in Wiley history at the high school.
Could you feel that? Like, could you feel I'm the only African American coach? And this is not they're trying to be racist. This is just we're talking real experiences here, guys. Could you feel that? Like, man, I'm the only black coach here. I got a lot of pressure on me, or no?
Absolutely,
Okay. Okay.
absolutely. Because you when you sit in the office, you spend so much time with coaches. They're your family, and you always want to have guys that can relate to you. You want to have certain conversations with guys, man, and it truly was tough, but I learned a lot sitting in that room with those people, man, and they were great people. I worked with some, Jimmy Carter, John Rose, man, Shannon Purcell is the OC at Prestonwood Christian right now. Those guys taught me so much, and they probably didn't even realize they were teaching me, but I was
Mm-hmm.
watching them. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching how they interact. I'm watching how they teach class. I'm
Mm-hmm.
watching how they talk to their principals. I'm watching all this stuff, man, and I just tried to soak it in, and stayed there for 2 years and made another move.
What offense was you guys running at that time, coach?
Man, we were a power. We run exactly what Highland Park runs right now. We were a
Okay.
power spread team. We had a really good quarterback. Went to Baylor, running back. Went to Wake Forest. We had a D tackle. He was the defensive MVP in the state of Texas that year, Nikita Whitlock. And like I said, we made the state and came up short against Katy.
What was your head coach at that time? What was his thing? Was it weight room? Was it technique? Was it we need to have a lot of talent over here? What was the head coach's kind of theme for leading at that time? How did he want his Wiley program?
Bill Howard has probably done the most with the least of most of these guys in the state of Texas.
Okay.
His big thing was we're gonna lift weights, we're gonna be strong, we're gonna get there early,
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna
Yeah.
stay there late. But his big thing was he is going to take care of kids.
Okay.
He would set the whole locker room up by himself on game day. You know what I'm saying? Putting out the
Wow.
gear. He gonna take care of kids. He gonna love kids. And if you don't take care of kids, You don't care how cold of a coach you are, you gone.
Wow. So you're there a few years, and then what's the next step after you leave Wiley?
Crazy, man. I Wiley split into two schools. Things got crazy, and I go to Sulphur Springs in East Texas. Take
Yeah,
a
I know. I got a ticket out there. I know where Silver Springs at.
Yeah, me too. Got about a $15,000 pay cut.
Wow.
I drove from Mesquite to Sulphur Springs, which is 67 miles one way,
Every day?
every day.
Wow. That
But
that's a journey, folks. He's not just talking. That's how long? How would you say, about almost an hour away or a little
it'd be
less?
about an hour there and about an hour 15 back.
Yeah. Wow.
And the ultimate sacrifice. The ultimate sacrifice. Took a big pay cut, went out to East Texas, played on a grass football field, but I learned so much out
Was
there.
that the only school that wanted you, coach, or what? Like, what drew you way out there, or was it like a necessity?
Man, I don't even think I interviewed anywhere else. I interviewed at MacArthur, Irvin MacArthur, didn't get it. And then it just came down to the offense I ran in college. The offense we
Mm.
ran at Spruce was the offense they ran at Sulphur Springs. And I knew
Mm.
it. So they
Yeah.
said, we're gonna hire you.
Wow. So how long was you at Silver Springs, and what was that like? I mean,
It
was it
was great,
similar
man.
to Wiley?
Total whole new world. Because now you're talking
Okay.
about rural kids, like East Texas
Oh.
kids. You got the
Okay.
country kids, you got some rich kids, and you got some hood kids out there at Sulphur Springs. Um, but it was fun. I learned a lot there. Learned more how to how to really run an offense from a guy named Jeff Reardon. He was our offensive coordinator. I was the recruiting coordinator. Coached the slots. Worked with a guy named Will Blaylock, who's down in Hightower right now. Real deal. I think we got on that staff. I think there's like four head coaches,
Wow.
4 or 5
What
head
what
coaches on that
what's one
staff.
big what's the big lesson you learned from that Silver Spring style?
How to sacrifice and think big picture. I was spending
Okay.
$550 a month on gas, making
Wow.
pennies, and in
Yeah.
East Texas. But it being around Greg Owens and being around those guys, it paid off and got me to where I wanted to be.
Wow. So you was there for what? 1 year or 2 years?
Two,
Two
two and done.
years.
Yep.
Two and done. Okay. So you kind of you spend these little time big places, but you also elevating. So you leave Silver Springs, and then where you land after you leave Silver Spring, coach?
I go to Crosby High School in Houston, Texas.
Oh,
Um,
Houston. Okay.
got my first real OC job there.
Now, when you say real, define that. What do you mean by real?
I've been a co-OC here, and there, but I was the OC at Crosby. I was the offensive coordinator at Crosby.
Okay, walk me through that. What was your game plan and mindset as an OC at Crosby, having spent previous years kind of getting to this point?
Man, I worked for a guy that was a phenomenal play caller, Jeff Reardon. He got the head job, wanted me to come with him to be his OC. And man, it was just we had two a running back and a quarterback, two twins. One of them just scored his first NFL touchdown Sunday, Austin Walter,
Wow.
and it just became try to be as explosive as possible. Our second year there, we had the number 3 offense in the country as far in terms of like yards per game. I think we averaged like 60 points per game, and we wasn't playing a bunch of bums, man. We were just putting up numbers on people. Um,
Wow.
Now I was the career and college advisor out there, man. So I learned the administrative side of things. Kind of got a chance to see things from a counselor's point of view, a principal's point of view, and just kind of how schools work and the politics of schools and setting up schedules. And that's when I think took the recruiting coordinator thing to another level. Kind of started getting my name out there and for different people. And we're on the front page of the Houston Chronicle, and we're signing, for a school like Crosby, when you sign 13 kids, that's like signing 25 kids at, DeSoto or Dunk or Cedar Hill. So
Hmm.
we had a pretty good run out there in Crosby.
So in Crosby, you were the recruiting coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
What was, as a recruiting coordinator, what was your goal? Of course, get the kids to college, but what was some of the means and some of the ways in which you operated? Like, how did you get that thing going?
Man, just trying to be a innovator, man. Like
Okay.
a lot of the stuff you see people doing on Twitter right now, putting the address and thanking these coaches and taking pictures with coaches. Like me and Coach O, man, to be 100% honest, we started all this stuff, man, years ago. So we're just trying to be an innovator. And I'm getting with guys, Jared Hun and just Joe Price that's at North Shore, and we're just collaborating and we're getting together and we're trying to, just get our kids recruited. Man, that's all I ever wanted to do was change kids' lives.
Yeah.
And change their families' lives by giving them an opportunity to go to college and get an education and play a little football on the way. So my mind frame was, man, let's get these kids, out of East Houston and give them an opportunity to do something special.
What, as an offensive coordinator, you say that was kind of that real offensive coordinator moment. How would you approach a game plan, coach? How would you approach an opponent? How would you walk me through that process of really being an OC from an X's and O standpoint?
Man, at that time is we were going to do what we did.
Okay.
We didn't add plays every week. we had a phenomenal running back. We had a phenomenal quarterback. We had a phenomenal receiver that all went big D1, and we were just going to get them the ball in space. And, our thing was just kind of take advantage of a defensive weakness, but we focused more on just doing our thing. Like the same plays we ran in week 1, we were going to run them in week 10. We were just going to get better at running them. We weren't going to come in and put in a million new plays. And, we weren't really just at that time, to be 100% honest, we weren't really worried about just trying to out scheme people. It was more of, you're going to have to stop what we're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So you're there. How long are you in Crosby?
Man, I planned on being in Crosby for 2 years because my wife's from Tyler. All my family's in West. That's Houston alone.
Yeah, it is.
Yep. I ended up staying for 4 and got back to the Metroplex, man, for my family.
And then when you came back up here, what school was that when you got up here to Dallas?
Man, I went to Carrollton Ranchview.
Carrollton Ranchview. Now, where is that at? And
what was that school in Irving. And I turned down a job from a school that's still playing right now in the Metroplex to go to 4A Carrollton Ranchview.
Why did you turn the other job down?
I like the guy at Ranchview, Coach Smith. I always thought my first head coaching job would be at a 4A, at a smaller school, because they're so hard to get. So I wanted to see what it was like to coach at a 4A school. I wanted to see what it was like, sharing kids, kids playing both ways. You don't have as many, your facilities, this and that. I just wanted to get that experience because I figured my first head job would be at a smaller school. So, man, I took a leap of faith, man. I was driving from Lancaster, Texas to Irving, which was an hour. Each way.
Yeah.
And, just kind of, once again, man, tried to learn as much as I could out there.
What like I now keep asking these same questions, but the theme I'm doing is I want these young coaches to see, that not saying their journey is your journey, but each stop, see if they can learn some wisdom from listening to this. So at Ranchview, what was that like? How, was it a good team? Was it a bad team? Like, walk me through that experience as far as, what you learned during that time, and how was the team in general?
Oh yeah, and they were 2-8 the previous year.
Okay.
And the job I turned down, I knew that they were getting. I think the job I turned down, them jokers went to the semifinals that year.
Oh yeah, that was big. That's big. Turn that down. Wow.
But I gave a man my word, told him I was coming, so I went. Ranchview was a learning experience, man. Just knowing, like, your whole 5 offensive line, 4 of them are gonna start on defense. How to share kids. My starting quarterback might have to go play safety. And, we turned it around, and my quarterback got district MVP. And we had a kid named Roderick Thompson that starts at Texas Tech that was a phenomenal running back. And, I learned again, man, like I learned how to game plan a different way. We didn't work on Sundays there. We worked all day Saturday.
Oh, wow.
It was a different type of kid up there in Irving, man. Those are, Carrollton Ranchview was in one of the most affluent neighborhoods of any school in the Metroplex.
Wow.
In any school. Like, if you go work, it's right in Valley Ranch, around the street from the Cowboys facility. Man, it's some $500,000, $700,000, $800,000 houses over there.
So is that kind of that Valley View Irving Los Colinas area or no?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I wouldn't. What you just said that surprised me. I wouldn't have thought that, Coach.
None of our kids lived in those houses though.
Were they from across the track, Coach?
Across 635. And all those kids were the same exact type of kids I had at Spruce.
That's funny to me, Coach. Wow.
They were grinders, man. They were great kids, man. Great kids. They just tough. A lot of them, not all of them. We had some rich kids, but a lot of them had tough, rough home lives, man.
Talk to me about that, man. It'd be so many different questions, but talk to me about dealing with that athlete that may not have food at home, maybe having some issues at home. Because I'm sure not all coaches deal with that. Like, how do you navigate coaching a football team as well as dealing with some of the off-field personal stuff for the kids?
Man, it's all about establishing a good relationship with those kids, and you have to know your kids. You know, I challenge my coaches all the time. No, don't just know your kids' grades, but know their home life. Are they eating? No, what do their parents do for a living? You know, are they wearing the same clothes? Are they having to get rides, man? And you know, some things that I learned from the guys that I work with is do everything in your power to take care of those kids. Because if you're not taking care of those kids, man, if they're hungry and they can't get to school and, you know, they're struggling with their schoolwork and whatever it is, they're not going to be successful on the football field. Then they're not going to have an opportunity to change their life by going to college. So, you know, do everything in your power to take care of those kids, man. If you got to stop and get a kid 5 chicken sandwiches and you wonder like, dang, why did this kid just order 5 chicken sandwiches? Oh, he going to give 2 of them to his brother.
Yeah.
He'll give 1 of them to his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, like I said it earlier, man, it's just sacrifice. And it's loving those kids, but it's not being soft on those kids. Like, it's coaching those kids harder than you may coach other kids, because life is going to be harder for those kids. The world is going to be harder on those kids. So you kind of got to get those jokers used to it, man. And my big thing is I'm a you know, coach you really hard, but I'm gonna love you hard twice as much.